Least privilege is the concept of running or logging onto your Windows desktop without administrative privileges. So for instance, you'll undertake your everyday tasks such as checking your email, surfing the internet, running any line of business applications that you need to work with for your job without any special privileges. It really reduces the risk of the machine becoming infected with malware, for instance. Unwanted configuration changes, it's very hard for them to happen if you're just running with standard user rights. And the machine will just be more stable and more reliable. So at the end of the day, the user will also be more productive. Of course, there's the issue of unlicensed software, users downloading things from the internet that they shouldn't be installing. So you could actually be breaking the law by having users install things they shouldn't, or software that is maybe not compatible with your business applications, causing problems for the help desk as well. There's also the issue of privilege creep, for instance, that users are being given privileges to solve a particular problem, then their machine stops working or it slows down, and it becomes more expensive to support those particular machines, and maybe you also have problems with outbreaks of malware, for instance. And security incidents, they can be costly in terms of fines, maybe from the Information Commissioner, reputational damage. So there's lots of consequences that can come about from giving users more rights than they really need. The main challenge isn't a technical one, but actually a cultural one, and the cultural shift that most companies will need to make in order to take away those high privileges. Because users, they're used to coming to work every day and being able to do whatever they want, maybe, to install whatever software they like without having to contact IT. And if they come in one morning and find that those privileges have suddenly been taken away, there's going to be quite a big problem. So you really need to prepare very well for the idea that users are not going to have those rights anymore. You need to get buy-in from management to make sure that they're going to be on side. And you need to explain to users how that's actually going to benefit them. From a technical point of view, Microsoft free tools, they can do the job up to a certain point, but there are certain problems that those tools can't solve, and they certainly can't solve problems on the fly. So what you really need to do is look at a third-party solution that's going to enable IT to respond to users' demands really very, very quickly, so that you can resolve those problems and keep the business running, and that you won't have any problems when you take away those administrative privileges. Also, upgrading to Windows 7 is really going to help you to take away those rights. For many businesses now, there's a pressing need to comply with industry regulations, and all of those regulations require that users only have the required privileges needed to do their everyday jobs, and that generally doesn't involve administrative rights. The biggest problem that organisations face is identifying the actual applications that are going to stop working if you take away administrative privileges. A lot of legacy applications, especially those developed in-house, were simply not designed to run without those kind of privileges. You need to identify those applications before you take away admin rights to make sure they keep working. Again, Microsoft tools can help to a limited extent, but what you really need to do is get an agent out there provided by a third-party tool and gather all of that data in advance so that you can make sure that users come in the next day and that their applications carry on working as if nothing has changed, essentially. I would suggest that organisations start by running a small pilot scheme within the organisation. So you pick different users who have different needs, some running with desktops, some running with notebooks, and you work with them to gradually remove their privileges, identify any problems or any concerns that users might have about the project, and that you gather metrics so that you can compare the situation with admin rights and the situation without, and you can show management that difference in a language that they can understand, and how that's actually going to improve the service that IT delivers and how it's going to improve the company's bottom line. I would advise companies looking to implement least privilege to have a look at a third-party solution like Privilege Guard to download a trial And I think it'll become clear very quickly that these solutions can really help to identify in advance what the problems are going to be with your line of business applications, which is quite important, and also ongoing will allow administrators to really address very quickly any problems that arise, because with the free tools you're not going to be able to do that very easily. So you really need to have something in place so that if a user comes across a problem, they're not going to complain that their restricted rights have suddenly created a situation where they're not able to do their jobs. As the global leader in Windows privilege management, Avecto Privilege Guard offers a complete solution, whereas the free tools are much harder to work with. With Privilege Guard, you have something that administrators can work with to solve problems on the fly. So they can be confident that they're able to solve the problems without having to worry about it. And it allows users to get on with their everyday jobs, and the company can still have the confidence that you're going to maintain the integrity of those systems, keeping all of the company's confidential information safe.